this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
There we go. Hey.
Here we are. All right, welcome to a new edition of Get It Right Texoma with the Texoma Trio.
That's
Terry
us.
McAdams, Trey Sralla, and our great friend and podcast partner in the sky, Mike Hendry.
That's right, man. So, we're here live every Friday morning, 7:30 now. Facebook and YouTube, it'll be live there. And please go out and share it right now. If you miss us, though, we're going to be we'll be there because those recordings will stay there and you can just always go back. And
so it's a Facebook Live. You're the tech guy.
Yeah.
So it's a Facebook Live, but it records at the same time.
Yes.
So it's in our archive.
Whatever. It's like you have always
watched.
The
word archive.
Okay, all right. It's an archive.
Important.
So it's in the archive and it's there. You just go back to our page and you'll see it there. Either go to the YouTube channel on YouTube, right. Or you go to the Facebook. And right now, though, if you're able to watch us and you've seen it, and you should get a notification though if you like our page, you'll get a notification that we are now live.
Even if you don't like it, you can still click like.
Right, there you go. Like us,
mean?
Yeah. That's just the way. If you want to watch us, and you may not like us, but hey, but we still want you to watch. So anyway, but we're going to be here every Friday morning, 7:30. Mm-hmm. Now, also, what's kind of cool about this new setup is you guys can participate. I can get comments right here on my screen. You guys just make comments on the Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll get them right here.
Be gentle.
Yeah, be gentle. Yeah, and they don't go immediately on the screen. There's a way, and I'll figure that out later. But we can pop them up on the screen here.
There's some sort of delay as well.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a minute or two delay, at least from the time you see this from actually when we've done it.
Right.
There's a minute or two, and it buffers it and everything. That's so that you don't lose that's why you don't get the buffering, because they buffer it. They catch an extra amount of it, give you a little lead. So anyway.
So real quickly, who's our sponsors?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. MacTech. Yeah, MacTech Solutions.
There you go.
And who's
Eddie Hill's Fun Cycle.
That's okay. And what's fun about fun cycles?
Well, there's a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah.
if you're into side-by-sides, if you're into motorcycles, street bikes, off-road, there's all kinds of fun at Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles. But It's not just for fun. It's also for work.
That's
we have
right.
a whole lot of ag customers that depend on our machinery all the time to make their life easier.
Are any of your vehicles a diesel? Or are they all gas?
No, we do have one company, Kawasaki, does make a diesel mule if you're really interested in the diesel. We don't sell very many of them.
Well, I just learned something last night.
What's that?
There's something called, you probably already knew this, something called red diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for agriculture. It's
Yeah,
apparently the same exact fuel. It's just been tagged red, so if you get caught with it and you're on the highway, you're in big trouble. So don't do that.
It's red diesel. That means that there's not an additional tax, road tax, or whatever the tax is that's been put on it. Right. And yes, if you have a diesel pickup, you can be checked.
Okay.
If you're out on the highway. It's the same thing as having people have trailer tags.
All right.
People put farm tags on their trailers to save the $63 a year or whatever.
Right.
And then they go to the rodeo.
Yeah.
The police walk around at the rodeo and write tickets all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
I always tagged all my stock trailers as regular, because if I wanted to go to the rodeo, I didn't want any hassle.
Okay. Well, and by the way, our goal here is to have some fun, possibly entertain you guys with some insights on national, local, and sometimes intergalactic happenings.
You never know.
Yeah, and we'll have guests on regularly. Like coming up soon is Tim Short, Jenica Lambert, and James Frank, and we've got others in the pike.
Yeah, we're kind of scheduled for the next 6 weeks or so, I think. So.
Right, and so and of course we did that part, and then let's see here. So, go ahead, you can do this.
Well, this is our first regular show without Mike. And he's not behind the mic anymore, but his legacy is. And that's why his picture's here on the table.
That's right.
His picture, we'll move the picture around a little bit because when we have guests, they can't really sit right behind it. But because it just wouldn't be this show without him.
Yeah, well, he'd be sitting in their lap, and I don't think that would be. I don't think he'd want to sit in anybody's lap. No.
Depends, but no.
Yeah. So
this Get It Right Texoma. Just a little background. Mike Hendry had a radio show on News Talk 1290 for many years. Yep. And Terry and I both were regular guests on that show.
Yeah, we were. I think we were on different days. So I think you were on Thursday and I was on Friday. And then we
occasionally we would get together.
Right.
And then when the radio show ended, Terry really had been pushing hard for Facebook and doing some sort of live thing. We were actually doing some of that in the radio days. And so we moved over to this podcast here. So it's just we're all getting over this. You know, Mike's been gone for a couple of weeks now. But it's part of it.
Yeah.
And the one thing I do wanted to say is and I think that this goes for everybody, but I think men sometimes fall into this trap more than others. You need to learn to deal with your feelings.
Yeah.
And it is, you deal with your feelings the way you are. Yeah. I mean, there's people who always sometimes think you need to cry or scream or holler, whatever it is. Whatever you need to do with your feelings, just don't bottle them up. Right. If you need to talk to somebody, talk to somebody. If you need to go out and jump on your tractor, like me, I go out and I do hard physical labor out in the heat, got a chainsaw in my hand, on my tractor, on my mower or something like that. That's how I process things. Yep. So whatever you do to process things, be sure to process this when you're in a time of grief or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, definitely don't – I mean, I guess, again, everybody's different, but it typically I think you need to keep somebody informed about what's going on if you're having a tough time or something.
Exactly.
Get some friend, family, whatever, whoever that trusted person is.
Talk to somebody. Yeah. Talk to somebody. If you need to talk to somebody, and if you need to – look, if you need to talk to a counselor or something like that, there is no shame in that. We do need to remove the stigma on that. And look, this is stiff upper lip guy saying this, and I personally have never been to a counselor. I've never talked my feelings out and things like that. But I do know that that's helpful for people. Yeah. And so therefore, don't like I said, don't bow your neck out and say, nope, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't mean you're weak or it doesn't mean anything about you. All it means is that you need help processing something. Yeah. And there are people out there, if you have a friend or a family member can do it, that's fine. But if you don't, there are people out there that are professionals. That's what they're professional listeners. Yep. That's what they do. Yep. So anyhow, all right. We'll kind of get past that. We wanted to get out there. We're not going to do this every week. We're going to move on, and this is exactly what Mike would want us to do. This is what we would do if you or I were gone and Mike was still here. This is what we would do. Absolutely. So, but and by the way, I'm thankful to Mike for one thing. He's made me kind of get out there and have some fun on this, because this is, as a kid, I was kind of playing around like a radio DJ and all that, but actually he got to do it as a real profession, and then he was kind enough to let me to kind of get into his little world, you know. So I think that's cool, and now I'm having fun with the tech, but I'm also having fun doing this. So I want to say shout out to him for that. So, all right. So we've got a local restaurant. We're going to obviously do that. We've been doing that for a while, and I've never heard of this. So what is this? Oh, you're missing out. Okay. Snookie's Craft Kitchen in Scotland, Texas. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. By the way, now for years there was a place called Thad & Paisley's. Yes. Oh, Scotland. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Thad & Paisley's closed, and Snookie's Craft Kitchen came in. Okay. And of course, Jerry Smith, who was a friend of the radio show, who would always come and promote the Scotland sausage feed. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's his daughter who is the owner. She and her husband own Snookie's Craft Kitchen. And Snookie is actually Jerry's wife's nickname. And that's how she named it. She named the restaurant after her mother. Yeah, one of my my grandfather's cousin, sister, somebody was named Snookie. So that's always I think that's a cool name. So. It's a great restaurant right there in Scotland, Texas. It is the restaurant in Scotland, Texas, by the way. Okay. If you go down 281 heading towards Windthorst, you hit a little small town called Scotland. Yep. And you literally drive right by it. It's there on the left-hand side of the road if you're heading that direction. Yeah. Snookie's Craft Kitchen. Check out their business hours. I'm not sure exactly what their business hours are, but they have got phenomenal food. They have home cooking, great burgers and sandwiches, chicken fried steak is spectacular. They have cheese curds that are unbelievable. Everybody tells me the fish is good. I'm not a big fish eater.
Yeah.
But I know the fish is good. Everything they do is good. Everything I've ever had there is good. My wife and I will go sometimes, and we'll try something different. Head chef is actually a Hershey grad.
Oh.
He went to school with my kids.
Yeah.
At Hershey. So, there's our
there we go.
right there.
Yeah, and I will have in the future, I'll have the ability to do I haven't figured that out with the new software, but I'll have the screen up on there and I'll be able to show it
so they're
live.
closed
Mondays and Tuesdays, and then they're open Wednesdays through Saturday 11 to either 8 or 9, depending on, I guess the weekend is 9, Friday and Saturday, and then
and Sundays,
brunch, yeah.
Breakfast, brunch, and lunch.
Yeah. So there you go. You got a
Snookie's
Facebook.
Craft Kitchen.
Right. Look up on their Facebook page. They got all the good information. I haven't been there, but I guess I'm going to have to go now.
To go.
So.
That is I would say semi-regularly for my wife and I. We go out that direction. Of course, we live in Clay County.
Right.
So, but it's still not that far. I don't know. It's probably, if you live in most parts of Wichita Falls, it's probably 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
And it's a really neat drive. And then here's another pro tip here. If you want a long drive back and a scenic drive back, so you go to Snookie's, and then, and I should remember the road, I could drive to it. I don't remember the number, but right past Snookie's, there's a road that you turn left, and you're heading towards Blue Grove. Basically, you're heading back you're going east. You're heading back towards Henrietta. You're heading east.
And then the other side of the lake. We could end up right?
Exactly. You cross
towards
the lake,
Miller Shores.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You cross the lake a couple of times. As far as small bridges, it's kind of a neat drive out there, and that takes you to the road that runs from Jacksboro to Henrietta. You turn left again or north, go to Henrietta, then you can drive home.
Okay. Well, that'd be all right. Well, there you go. So. I guess we got some things, whatever news, local happenings,
Absolutely.
And whatever.
So Archer County Rodeo is celebrating its 80th year.
Okay.
And so it is so tonight. This is June 20. Oh, wait a minute. Hell, that's next week.
Next week. Well, it's next week on the 27th. So,
right.
All right. United Professional Rodeo begins at 7.
Right. It's followed by a dance with live music from Steve Bounds and Simply Honky Tonk.
Whoever they are.
Yep.
Okay.
Tickets are
$10.
Local? I don't know.
Okay.
Tickets are $10 for the rodeo, $10 for the dance, and $15 for combination tickets. And then on June 28th, the rodeo parade starts at 10 a.m. there in Archer City.
Okay.
The rodeo starts at 7 p.m. and William Clark Green concert will follow that. I've heard of William Clark Green. Tickets for the rodeo and concert are $25. By the way, got a really kind of interesting story about the Archer City Rodeo.
Here's something outside. I don't
Somebody
know, something screaming.
Or something out there.
Okay.
So I actually, when I was 16 years old, went on a blind date to the Archer City Rodeo. That was my
blind date.
Yeah, it was a blind date. A friend of mine and his girlfriend set me up with a friend of hers from church, and I went and picked him up. First off, I got a speeding warning. I got pulled over by the Highway Patrol. I mean, I had my license all of about 4 months. Got pulled over by the Highway Patrol. I was speeding, and fortunately got a warning. Went and picked them all up in my single cab F-250 pickup.
Oh,
that was my dad's. So we had all of us were stuffed in that F-250. Yep,
bench seat.
One big bench seat.
Yeah. We
drove to the rodeo. Go to the rodeo, go to the dance, come outside, flat tire. So my buddy and I look like trying to be a NASCAR team, get out the high lift jack, drop the spare tire. We put the fresh tire on, let it down. The fresh tire was flat. The spare tire was flat.
God.
No air. So we drove from the rodeo grounds in Archer City to the, I don't know if it's Allsup's or whatever, the gas station in Archer City. We limped over there and put air in the tire. I don't even know there's a gas station there anymore, but there was at the time. This was in probably 1988 or 89. It limped over there, put air in the tire, and move on.
Oh, man.
So what a way for a
blind date. Was it a good date? Otherwise?
I don't remember.
Was she cute?
You know what?
Can't remember.
Before my wife, I don't remember any of them.
Of course.
That's a good one.
There you go. Yes, yes.
No, it was. I'm sure we had a good time. It's been a long time ago.
All right. Well, we got the After Hours Art Walk coming up on July 10th. That's a Thursday. Thursday evenings.
Right.
And so you can take a friend. They've got art, music, food, and a whole lot of other things going on.
Downtown Wichita Falls.
Downtown. That's right.
And it's going to be every Thursday. Now, they don't do them through the wintertime, so we'll kind of keep you informed on when they stop doing them.
Right.
But you cannot believe how many people pack in
I know.
downtown for this.
Yep.
If you've not been to one of the art walks downtown, you need to go just for the spectacle.
Yep.
You know, it's funny because you could see old pictures of Wichita Falls of downtown 1932 or whatever, and the streets are full of people.
Right.
That kind of reminds me of this. The only difference is those people had suits and fedoras on, and people out here have sweatpants and pajamas or whatever the hell.
And as Mike used to always say, there was a time, unfortunately, that you could shoot a cannon off in downtown and nobody would notice. So
that's true.
You know, but now we got a lot of things happening down there for a number of years now. What, 10, 15 years now?
Something like that.
Yeah,
the downtown
is
development's been going on for about 20 years, and it's gotten
it's
stronger
really,
and stronger.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah. Real quickly here, and I know it's not on our list here, but I'm going to throw it in because I want to start promoting it now. July 4th celebration, the Wichita Falls Shepherd Air Force celebration.
Oh, okay, yes.
You know, for years, Shepherd Air Force Base would do something in Wichita Falls, and they would switch on and off. I think a few years ago they realized it's a pain in the ass to do it that way. And you were in the military. Getting on base is not.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have base privileges, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Air show is always because security and everything.
Exactly.
That's the reason.
It is a military base, a real military base.
Yep.
So they had to kind of worry about security a little bit. So what they've done is they've basically moved all the festivities, but Shepherd Air Force Base is very involved, and it's at Independence Park, I think is the name of the park.
Okay.
It's right there next to the MPEC. There's a little strip of land there that is actually technically a park. And there'll be vendors and food, and then they'll have a massive fireworks display.
Okay.
So
all right.
Check them out. So which is a Friday. So most people don't have to go to work the next day.
Okay.
So
all right. Yeah. So you got the next thing, even though it has my name on it, but hey.
Oh, okay. Well, you can do it if you want.
Well,
to.
we got out of
Okay. Well, the Legacy and Memorial High School Band will take approximately 300 students. So Legacy and Memorial are the two new high schools in Wichita Falls. They just finished their first year. So this is going to be a combined band, and they're going to travel to London.
London?
Yeah, not London,
England.
Texas. London, England, yes, across the pond to participate in the New Year's Day parade.
Okay.
So they're going to be marching together as one band, and it's the 40th anniversary for the parade. The schools are obviously asking for financial help.
Okay.
And the one thing I will say, and I'm going to tease this right now, Redneck Culinary Academy, which I'm part of, is going to have work with them on a fundraiser in September.
Okay.
And so we'll have plenty of information about that, so you can go out and get some great fish.
Okay.
Catfish meal on doing that.
Okay.
But for now, to donate, you can call 940-781-4505 or cherrytreelaneadv@gmail.com.
Okay. Here, actually, tell us a little bit more, and I can get the phone number up there real quick.
Okay, yeah, that'd be
940.
great.
Go ahead.
The band directors have gotten together, and I don't know how they're selecting the students, if it's going to be their top. It's going to be 300, which that's a lot of kids. And so there's going to be a large financial commitment. The thing I really like about this, and Ryder High School did this several years ago, this is an opportunity for children that some kids who would not get an opportunity to travel internationally, to travel internationally.
Okay.
And it broadens your horizons. If you've never had an opportunity to go somewhere other than the United States, and look, I love America, I love Texas, but I also love to travel and see what life is like outside of this country. And I'm going to tell you, when you go over, and even to Europe, because I've been to Europe, is the only other continent I've been to, but I've been all over Europe. You really get an appreciation for how good we have it.
Oh, yeah.
As Americans.
Oh, yeah.
And our standard of living. So, yeah, there you go. 940, we even worked right there. 781-4505 or cherrytreelaneadv@gmail.com.
Yep.
You will start seeing a lot more promotions and that sort of thing going on as school starts. Right now, school's out, obviously. But these kids are going to be doing all kinds of things to make money. The other thing that I really like is the band directors have insisted, if you want to go, you're going to help raise the money for it.
Right.
Now, if you want to write a check, you write a check. But if you want somebody in the public to donate for your trip, you're going to work for it.
Yep.
So
that's good. Well, it's like they make you when you go on a mission trip with the church. You got to work on it. So, well, there you go. 940-781-4505, Cherry Tree Lane, ADV. I guess is that advisor or what?
Advertising, maybe?
Oh, okay. At gmail.com. And of course, you can get us on Facebook. Message us if you missed this, because I'm going to take that off the screen here. But message us through Facebook, and I'll make sure you get the number if you missed it.
There you go.
So, all right. Then the next thing here, I'll delete that. All right. And there we go. All right. So, all right. Israel and Iran. Man, Israel's been ready. Has been kicking some butt.
Yeah, they really have.
And and of course, Iran's responding as would be expected. But apparently, we have control. I say we, at least that's what Trump tweeted out the other day, that we have control of the airspace. I guess that.
I think the
Israelis have right. Well, of course, we did support them in a way, and
we do support them a lot.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah.
But I think we're not sending. As far as I know, I don't believe there's American pilots over there.
No. So but the right now, I guess the latest and last day or so is that Trump is considering whether he wants to do those bunker buster bombs, which is the only. I guess we're the only ones that have it, and at least on the good side.
I don't know that anybody anywhere in the world has one.
Maybe not. Yeah. So, but we're trying to weigh that right now, and of course, there's threats from Iran saying, "Hey, we're gonna, you don't want to do that," and we'll see how that goes. But I don't know. I think there's a lot to do. I mean, there's a lot to consider in this case. Not so much that we're kowtowing to Iran themselves. It's just that is it really where and Trump has to play this right, because that's been a big thing he's been campaigning, is that we need to take care of our own and support those who need that, because that's in their neighborhood. And that's just across I forget, it's just not a big my geography is not
between Iran and Israel. Oh, they're right there.
Right.
Yeah,
so
they're neighbors,
yeah,
if you would say.
So
yeah, but this shit's been going on for a long time.
Oh,
and look, I have not been a fan of Iran, and I want to say this. It's not the Iranian people.
No.
Even though I don't give them too much of a pass, because they've allowed this regime to be in power since the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay? When they took Americans hostage and held them.
And it's the Ayatollah Khomeini, and he's still there.
Right. Well, I think it's a new one.
No, well,
it's not the same guy.
It's not.
No,
okay.
I think that's the Ayatollah Khomeini is their new. I think they just rename them. It's like a pope.
Except
except for that,
he gets a different name every time.
But anyhow, I don't believe it's the same guy that was there, because he was an old man in the 70s. He was an old guy.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to look that up.
You can Google search and make sure. But my point is, Iran has been a thorn. Ever since then, Hezbollah and the mullahs and all these, those are proxy groups that are been propped up by Iran.
Right.
So even though Iran has not been necessarily killing people or lobbing bombs and things like that, they've been paying people to do it.
Right. Yeah. Well, and something else.
Stop this shit.
Right. Well, it's a local connection here to Iran. I've got 3 people that I know, and I think a lot of you know, some families and some people who are here in Wichita Falls that all are from Iran. There's the Kamalis that own Jolly Truck Stop and the Burke Market, and now the new restaurant, the Firefly. Yep.
I didn't know they owned
that. And then Sean, who's the head chef at Fox Hill Restaurant, and then the Euros and Kebabs, Razi and his family. Well, he's from Iran.
I didn't know that.
Yep. All 3 of them ended up here in Wichita Falls, and they were. I think all of them came. I don't know their stories, right? So I don't know the whole story how they ended up here.
They got out of Iran for a reason.
But right, I imagine. So, but the point is that there are good people there, and that's a
sure.
perfect example. And the vast majority, I think it was 20 or 80%, are absolutely don't like the government that they have, and so they definitely are under the thumb and the hands. They're being controlled in a lot of ways, but unfortunately, that's what it is. But anyway, but they were getting the nuclear weapons capability rebuilt after everything, and that's why
that has to stop.
Right, and just a little note here that so there was a years ago, I forget how long it was, probably in the 90s, I think. There was a CIA, I don't know what you call it, operation that involved getting thumb drives physically snuck into the plants that were doing the centrifuge plants of trying to processing the material, the nuclear material. And if you don't know, there's how you refine it or whatever. These centrifuges, obviously they spin, but they have to spin at the right rate.
Right.
And there's computers that control. Well, they were able to infiltrate all of that and put a virus. It's called Stuxnet, and it actually put them behind a lot for years. But now, unfortunately, they were getting back, and so Iran's like, or not Iran, but Israel's like, we can't do this. We can't let this stand, and so they took that proactive step. So
we as Americans have let this go too long, and I blame Ronald Reagan, I blame George Bush, I blame Bill Clinton, I blame the other George Bush, I blame Barack Obama.
Yeah,
I blame Donald Trump, and I blame Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's 7 presidents who could have done something.
Yeah.
And they've not done it. Now, I will say I do believe that Donald Trump will at this point. I think I believe that we'll either go in and stop that nuclear capability, or he's trying to let Israel handle it.
Yeah.
And if they can, they can. If they can't, they can't. One of the biggest things is you worry about regime change.
Yep.
And you would almost think that the people would want regime change, but the problem that we've seen in the past is you depose a dictator and something else worse may come in.
Yeah.
And that's always a balance. And I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently about whether we should or shouldn't. But the fact is, we should not let Iran, under any circumstances, have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
Because once they have a nuclear weapon, once somebody has a real nuclear weapon, they are harder to negotiate with. Look at North Korea.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We have to walk around with North Korea with kid gloves a little bit because they've got a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We have to stop that with Iran because, once again, not the Iranian people, but the Iranian government has been very open. They want the destruction. They want Israel wiped off the face of the earth. They want America wiped off the face of the earth. And by the way, what effing year is it? Seriously? 2025, we have people that are wanting to wipe other people off the face of the earth? For what? Come on. This is crazy. It's not like, I don't believe it's like Iran wants to take Israel's land.
No.
Israel's the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have any natural resources or anything like that. It's just purely about we want to wipe them out for some zealot reason. And it's a religious zealot reason. So I'm in total favor of Israel doing what they're doing over there, in total favor of Trump pushing buttons and saying, look, either you negotiate or this is going to happen. And he did come out, I believe he said yesterday that he'll make a decision within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think from at least what the White House is spinning that is that Iran possibly could have nuclear capability within 2 weeks. So we'll see.
So I found this little story. It's in Texas, Beverly Hills, Texas.
Yep.
Didn't know there was a Beverly Hills.
There is. It's a suburb of Waco. It's and I believe it's surrounded by Waco. But yeah, Beverly Hills, Texas is a you would say suburb or a town inside of the greater Waco area.
Jeez. Okay. Well, so this is really bizarre. So, a 36-year-old Texas woman being held on felony stalking charges. I guess that's all they could come up with in a bizarre case where a wedding was held without the groom present.
That's
kind of scary.
And we mean physically present. There's been plenty of weddings where the groom has been schnockered out of his head and not there mentally.
Right. Well,
but the guy was physically not there.
Yeah. He without his knowledge, he was married. A 42-year-old man told police that he found a package from his ex-girlfriend at his home that included a copy of a marriage certificate showing he was married. So I guess they had gotten, the victim told the police he had been in a relationship with the suspect, and they had gotten a marriage license around June 2nd. Okay, so that piece had done. So the license was ready to go.
Yeah.
And they had broken up before the wedding took place. Chief Martin said,
which is the Beverly Hills police chief.
Yeah, and it's 7-something, not 90210, by the way. But anyway, Chief Martin said the investigation determined that the woman had convinced a pastor to certify the marriage without the groom being present. So I hope he loses his pastor license or whatever.
his pastorship.
Yeah. And then anyway, with let's see, he went. Okay, so Chief Martin said, I can't speak. Chief Martin said she then went to the county clerk's office and filed her certificate, being she the crazy woman. Then
maybe misguided, Terry.
Yeah, misguided. Yeah. Okay, well, whatever. The police chief said that with the assistance of the Hewitt Police Department.
By the way, Hewitt is pretty close to Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Hewitt is actually more. I don't believe it's inside the Waco. It's a suburb of Waco.
Okay.
The bedroom community of Waco.
All right. So my
family's from Central Texas. I'm pretty familiar with the layout of the land down there.
All right. So they got with the Hewitt Police Department, and the suspect was located at a residence near Hewitt. Police obtained an arrest warrant for third-degree felony stalking and took Spearman into custody. She was booked into the McClellan County Jail. So that's wow.
This was a weird story. When you sent this, I thought we've got to definitely talk about that. Yeah, this is this would rank if you were this guy. This would rank very high on your weirdo shit-o-meter.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? Man. You're in a relationship with somebody,
and you think you're done,
and then you find out no, not only are you still in a relationship, you're married.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, apparently I don't know if it's in Texas, but apparently you can get married by proxy with a proxy in your place. There's been doing, like in some places, I guess, prison. If you're in prison, you can't physically be there.
Right.
And they don't, I guess, let you do it in the prison. Maybe some do. But, yeah, you can have somebody kind of sit in for you and do it. But, wow, this is it's a little bit more than that. Forcible marriage, by proxy, I guess. So, yeah. But anyway, so
this lady obviously has some mental illness issues. We talked earlier about talking to counselors. She definitely needs to talk to a counselor. Get this figured out. So yeah,
all right,
folks, when it's over, it's over.
Yeah. Hopefully. Well, but you think, but there's some man. Well, we can talk about that. There are some crazies out there.
Well, next week, before we wrap up here, Tim Short.
Okay, Tim Short.
Wichita Falls Mayor Tim Short will be our guest.
Yes.
He was the first guest on our podcast.
On the new podcast. Yeah, we have the new format, being here with all the background and all the cool stuff.
He's been on the podcast before a number of times, but he was our very first guest, and we're going to have him coming up. And then, like you said earlier, Jenica Lambert's going to be on.
Okay.
Jim Johnson, county judge, will be on at some point.
We've got him scheduled.
Yeah. David Spiller. Yep. State Representative David Spiller, State Representative James Frank. So we have a whole host of characters that's going to come in and talk about Wichita County, Wichita Falls, the Texoma area, and then sometimes beyond.
Yep. And again, if you've stayed this far, please share us and let everybody know because we want to build our audience, continue to build the audience, and we can only do it from the support you guys do by sharing and letting us know and letting everybody else know. Comment on these recordings,
right?
And let us know how we're doing. And we'd certainly love to have you there. But this is a not new format necessarily, but a new time, and we're going to do it on these Friday mornings. And you'll be able to tune in anytime on Friday, 7:30.
Yeah, and it will be real time. The other nice thing I like about us doing it this way, and looking back, I would have liked we should have done this in the past, but we could talk about things that are current.
Yeah.
like events that are going to happen, like right
or
now.
even real time, like if it happened to, or last night or whatever.
Exactly.
And then it's right. So and it also helps us by using this technology. It's like a TV production studio right on my Mac right now. So it's really nice to have that. And
by the way, where can you get a Mac like yours?
Oh, that's right. Sponsor MacTech Solutions right here, 4020 Ray Road, and that's where we are recording from. The studio is in our store. Just as you come in to the right, if you come in and visit, you'll see it in the back. And then of course we have Eddie Hill's Fun Cycles,
401 Scott downtown Wichita Falls since 1966.
Yeah, right near the river. And how close do you get? Do you get when we have had all that rain? Does it threaten you guys?
Not really. We're up kind of high ground. Okay. The closest we got when the river got out of the banks there on Scott Street in, was it 15, 16? Whenever we had that the river came up and you could still drive down Scott there, but it probably got a foot deep or so.
Oh, wow.
But nowhere close to put it this way. If our store floods, I'm building an ark.
Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap it up, I guess.
Absolutely.
And we certainly appreciate you tuning in, whether it's live or later on. But again, make some comments in there for us, and then share this. But hopefully we did well here. I'm going to try to get a little fancier as time goes on. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. And we've already talked about the sponsors, and then I guess hopefully you enjoyed everything here. And Wichita Falls is not boring. If you think Wichita Falls is boring, you're boring. That's my saying, by the way. If you are bored, you're bored with yourself.
That's one step up from Nanny Nanny Boo Boo.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. If you're bored with yourself, because you have a mind, you're capable.
That's true.
Go out and do something.
I agree. I agree with what your sentiment there. Yeah. If you say you're bored, it's like, well, wait a minute.
Then you're bored with yourself.
Yeah. You should have plenty of creative outlets, especially in 2025. This isn't 1912 when the only thing a kid had was remember the stick with a hoop to run down the street. And you see those in the old pictures and stuff?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I mean, like when you and I were growing up, a Slinky was a big thing.
Yeah.
Now these kids have flat panel TVs and video games and graphics
3D
and
printers.
interaction.
Gosh,
there's so much stuff
to do. Yeah.
But there's nothing better than getting out and doing some hard physical labor. You can see I'm a little sunburned here. I was outside yesterday during the heat of the day. There's nothing wrong with getting outside. If you're physically capable of getting outside and getting a little hard physical labor done, it's good for you.
All right. So see you next Friday, 7:30 a.m. I don't know that we had any glitches. I don't know. I guess we'll have to go back and look at the video, but I think we streamed pretty well here, and but we're working on it, having fun. And anyway, we're going to wrap it up. So why don't you finish this up?
In the words of our good friend, Mike Hendry, we'll see you down the road.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.